Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. No, you're not interrupting anything. I mean, so I was actually going to tell myself a story about a memorable moment from my time at Bates, but I mean, now that you're here, I mean, I guess you can listen if you want. No pressure. Up to you. Stay if you want, leave if you don't. But this story is about what I thought was going to be the craziest thing to happen to me this year. Obviously, I was wrong. Um, but some of you already might know this, but in early February, I got stuck in a hedge elevator. So shortly after entering the first floor and pressing the second floor button, the carriage, I looked it up, and that is the technical term, started making a weird noise, shook, and then stopped. It was probably around 4:58, and I was on my way to a 5 o'clock meeting that I was helping run. And so, I obviously was very worried about my reputation for being super on time and didn't want to ruin that. So I did what anyone would do in that situation and texted some of my friends, quote, "Not to be dramatic, but I think I'm stuck in an elevator, LOL," keeping it light. And so I'm at that point, I'm like still standing up. I still have my backpack. I'm ready to go. I am not thinking that this will take long. So security comes, and when they weren't able to open it immediately, I realized that I might be there for a little longer. And so, I sat back and kind of just settled in a nice corner. And I was really bummed to be missing the meeting, but I was also thankful I had peed ahead of time. It's the small things, And so there were a couple people still outside the elevator, I think heading into the meeting or whatever. And I heard one of my friends, who I won't name names, say, "This is the best thing that's ever happened to me." And you know what? You are so welcome, Lily Meyer. So about 15 minutes had passed. Most everyone went into the meeting, and I was starting to feel hot. And unfortunately, I was wearing a thick turtleneck with no undershirt. Huge mistake. I mean, you have to have layers if you're going to be going in and out during a Bates winter. But anyway, there I was, one thick layer, and I had a choice to either I could suffer the heat indefinitely or take off my shirt and risk an awkward interaction with security in the event that all of a sudden they're able to fix the elevator and rescue me. So, what a dilemma. Luckily, right outside the door, I thought was Lily, and only Lily. Last I heard, security was in the basement, and so, just my one friend Lily outside. And so through the doors, I asked her, "Do you think it's okay for me to take off my shirt because I'm getting hot?" And I kind of had to yell this to make sure she heard it. And what I heard back was a much deeper voice saying, "That is completely up to you, ma'am." So turns out that Lily wasn't the only one outside, and I just asked security if I could sit there topless while I awaited my sweet escape. But what an empowering answer, nonetheless, although they did call me ma'am. So eventually the fire trucks came, lights shining, sirens blaring, noticeable at all commons. What can I say? I'm an attention seeker. Sue me. So once they got there, the LFD, that's the Lewiston Fire Department, for those who aren't in the know like me, were able to come save me from my lonely hot carriage, which I was super thankful for, and I guess, just went about my day after that. And that night in Commons, and sort of throughout the next day or two, I kept hearing an interesting thing from my friends, which was, "Of course that happened to you." And at first I was like, classic me, lol, I'm so random, but then I had friends tell me about acquaintances of mine that also said to them, "Of course that would happen to Eden. Duh." And at that point I was like, "But really? Why? What? Why is that of course? Why me?" But despite my slight curiosity as to why so many people thought me getting stuck in an elevator was incredibly on brand, I did sort of find it oddly comforting that, to hear this coming from so many of my acquaintances. And so you might be wondering, why the heck are you telling me this? And that is a good question. I could declare this story as some sort of foreshadowing, the loneliness to come, or, a metaphor for feeling stuck between college and whatever is next. I don't think anyone really wants to hear me make parallels between now and my little situation in February. So instead, and this is perhaps why I'm telling this story, I'd like to give a big shout out to all of the acquaintanceships I formed at Bates. I am so utterly thankful for my close Bates friends, and I miss them so much right now. But I can confidently say that as soon as we're able to, we'll all be able to see each other again. But it's the people who, for whatever reason, I didn't quite get to form a deeper friendship with, but I still always enjoyed running into, that I most wish I could have said goodbye to. The random class friends, the people I met in orientation who we never really stopped saying hi to each other, the first year floor mates who lived on the far side of the hallway, and just, to everyone who knew me just well enough to confidently say, well, of course you didn't got stuck in the elevator. Thank you for being a part of my Bates experience, because we might not stay in touch, but I hope the absolute best for you. And if you're ever feeling stuck, physically or metaphorically, feel free to send me that Zoom link and I'll always open it for you.